Welcome to episode 31 of the Bulls Recap Podcast. I'm Joe Cowley of the Chicago Sun-Times. You could obviously read me in the Chicago Sun-Times. You could follow me on Twitter, X, however you want to call it, at joecowley. Follow at your own risk. Look, huge week. I mean, NBA draft next Wednesday, the 25th. Bulls pick 12th. Could have been a lot better than that, but competitive integrity rules the day. Every year I do this for the Sun-Times. Thought we'd do it for the pod. I do a basically mock draft sure to go wrong by pick number 4. In this case, could be number 3. So, let's get right into it. Number 1, probably one of the easiest number 1 picks since Wemby and San Antonio a couple years back. Dallas Mavericks, who basically defied the odds. 1.8%, I believe, was the odds for them to jump from number 11, thanks to a winning coin toss and defeating the Bulls for that spot, keeping the Bulls at 12. And they captured number 1, and that means they captured, to me, who is a player who is going to be a generational game changer. I think he's landed in a perfect situation because they got AD. They won't have Kyrie because of the ACL. Maybe he comes back late in the season. That remains to be seen. But Cooper Flagg, obvious number 1 pick. Forget the skill set is what it is. I think he ended up measuring like 6'8", 6'9", somewhere in there, barefoot. The skill set is what it is. It's the mindset. That's what scouts and teams have talked about. And look, I talked to one executive who told me last week, there's not 5 NBA players. There's all but 5 NBA players you would trade for this kid. We didn't go the details of those 5 players, but to me, he's just can't miss as it comes. Even more so than Wemby, because I think there were health concerns about Wemby. So congrats to Dallas. I think they have the new face of the NBA coming their way. Cooper Flagg goes number 1, no-brainer. Number 2, no-brainer again. Dylan Harper, San Antonio, yes, it's the guard room's a little crowded, but that's fine. Dylan Harper can play either guard spot out of Rutgers. And another ball handler that will help Wemby develop and get Wemby the ball. I don't see San Antonio's a rumor for whether it's a Giannis trade or anything. I don't see a Giannis trade getting together in less than a week. And I don't even know if there's going to be a Giannis trade. Lots of times that's just drama, off-season NBA drama. Number 3, Philadelphia has the first real kind of here's where we start the draft decision. I think I've got them going with VJ Edgecombe from Baylor. I love the kid. I think he's explosive. I think he's a guy you don't have to give him the ball, so I think he'll play well off of Maxey and Embiid. I think he's just I want to defend you. I want to stop you. I want to get steals. I want to get in the open court, and I want to explode. This guy he has some Ant to him as far as his explosion at the rim. He's not as big as Ant, as powerful as Ant, but he has that kind of explosion. Who should be number 3? We'll get into him a couple times, but Ace Bailey, congrats to you, guy. You are doing a lesson, a textbook lesson of how to kill your draft stock each day. The latest news with Arias Ace Bailey is he decided to cancel his visit to Philadelphia, who has the number 3 pick, who probably would have liked a 6'10" guy who has a high floor scoring ability. He's kind of more headache right now than prospect. Disappointing, but we'll get to this later. Let's keep the intrigue going with Ace Bailey. Number 4, I think this guy, his stock is skyrocketing. Kai Knippel out of Duke. People that worked him out have found out he's a lot better athlete than they thought. Sniper, 3-point shooter, which obviously fits perfectly in today's game. Smart IQ, hard-nosed player. I think Kai Knippel is going to really surprise some teams and continue this jump up. That's why I have him going for the Charlotte Hornets. 5, Trey Johnson. He could go number 4. I mean, pure scorer. He's got kind of a Tyler Hero game to him, a little thicker, but I mean, could score from anywhere like Hero could right out of college, and Trey Johnson kind of fits that mode out of Texas. He's just kind of a plug and fit play that would fit great in Utah with Danny Ainge. So I have him going 5th. If he went 4th, I would not be shocked. I think Knipple and Trey Johnson are kind of interchangeable depending on what a team likes and the workouts. Washington Wizards, Ace Bailey. Let's get back to you. I've got the Wizards taking Bailey. Why? Well, because of the Wizards, and they love dysfunction. And this guy, the ceiling is ridiculously high. It's not Cooper Flagg high, but he could end up being the second best player in this draft class. He could also end up being a bust. That's the concern with him. But here's where it gets interesting. If the Wizards are at 6 and Bailey's sitting there and they decide we don't know what we want to do with him, is that the spot that the Bulls could get aggressive and try and trade up for either future assets and a player? Or, I mean, does Washington get nervous enough where they trade back and say, you know what, we don't see a big divide between 6 and 12? I don't think that's going to happen because, in the people I've talked to, there is a tier of about number 6 to number 10. And then the drops after that with 11 and 12 where the Bulls sit. So you'd be kind of dropping out of that talent tier if you're Washington. But I have them taking Ace Bailey. Why not? It's a circus. Why not get a ringleader? 7, New Orleans Pelican, Jeremiah Fears out of Oklahoma, another guy whose stock is going up. New Orleans is kind of the big mystery right now because it's a new front office. So there's not a lot of intel coming out. Could they go after Common Malawash? Sure. Could Yakunis from Illinois, big guard, go there? Sure. But right now I have Jeremiah Fears from Oklahoma. Brooklyn Nets guy just mentioned Malawash. I love him. I mean, I think as the year went on, he's a sponge. He's just one of these guys that just wants to be great. As the year went on, to see a 7-footer kind of not only always be that rim protector, but all of a sudden Malawash was showing some real offensive game, not just rim runner and dunker, showing a little range. I think his skills are so raw, but he wants to be great. I mean, I think he's going to be phenomenal. Ideally, I would love if he somehow fell to the Bulls, but that's a pipe dream. I know it's only 4 or 5 spots away, but it's a pipe dream because I think 8 is as far as he goes. Maybe Toronto at 9, but not for that. Kasparis, our guy, Kasparis Yakajonas, Illinois, big guard. I think Toronto their front court looks pretty set. So I think he'd be a nice addition there, a good fit. Again, a player who's climbing not as quickly as Knipple and guys like that. But Houston Rockets are at number 10. This is a guy that's on the Bulls' radar. Colin Murray Boyles out of South Carolina, by far the best defensive player in this draft. Wing defender, elite wing defender. The offense is kind of dookie. He's got a lot of work to do offensively, but you're getting a guy that could and the Houston situation, I mean, he just another athlete, a guy that wants to D you up. You have to get through Oklahoma City, who just wants to grind you with their defense. So you have to counter that with some dogs of your own. And Colin Murray Boyles is a dog. Number 11, Portland Trailblazers. Another guy that's on the Bulls' radar, Carter Bryant, forward out of Arizona. He's a worker. He's kind of a jack of all trades, master of none. Could be a really good 3-and-D guy. We'll see who he develops. But, again, his stock, his workouts, a lot of teams are impressed with him. He had great interviews. Number 12, you probably all want me to say Derek Queen. I am not going to say that. From the people I've talked to, the lack of athleticism in Billy Donovan's system is concerning. They want a guy that's not only going to fit this system, they want a guy that they feel is going to excel in this system. Derek Queen could end up being, baby Joker And the Bulls may be kicking themselves because you can run offense through him because of his passing ability and the other things he can do so well. But I just don't see – they are really committed to this high-paced, run-you-off-the-court mentality. That's why I have Georgia kind of – you want to put him as a tweener, a center, power forward, Asa Newell. The thing I like about Asa Newell, when you watch film on him, he's got some Joakim Noah in him as far as his motor and his mentality. He's got a little – his game's not as raw offensively as Noah's was coming out of floor. 7-foot wingspan, rim runner – needs to work on rim protection, but it's there, and I think that will only get better because of his athleticism. But even the way he claps when a big play happens, he gets a guy to trash talk and get a technical or whatever. He kind of gives that Joakim kind of clap right in the guy's face. I think Bulls fans will love him. I think he'd be great in this culture, and the Bulls need something in the middle, especially if they're going to move off Nico. If they're going to move off Vooch soon. So number 13, the Atlanta Hawks. I think the Hawks are in a mentality of we have to get out of this Trae Young cesspool hole that we're in of mediocrity. Yegor Demon, love the kid. If the Bulls took him at 12, I would be not upset, even though people are like, what do we need another big guard for? A guy whose stock is going way up. If the Bulls do take him, that kind of tells me that they have something in place to either trade Kobe White or Ayo. So we'll keep an eye on that. If the Bulls go backcourt guard, definitely Kobe White and Ayo, they have to have a feel that one of them is going to be moved, or Lonzo Ball. One of them is going to be moved in that guard room, is going to take a step back and then take a step up with Demon coming there. But so I have him going to Atlanta, and that's kind of the process of them getting off of Trae Young eventually. It might not be this year. It might take a couple of years. So 14, San Antonio. Noah Essengay. Not just because he's French and Wemby's French. It'll be a nice French connection, 2.0. But great addition because I think he'll take some of the you have to be the lone rim protector. You have to be able to understand drop coverage defensively off of Wemby's plate and let Wemby be that defensive presence, but not have to focus on that and continue to build up his offensive game. So, forward / small center, rim protector, loves playing defense in the paint, raw offensively, but, they'll have time to build that. Oklahoma City, the rich get richer. Cedric Coward, Washington State. They love overlooked guys at OKC, guys with the chip on his shoulder. This guy's got a big chip on his shoulder. There's some Jalen Williams comparisons. I see some of that. The offense isn't there. But this is a guy in Coward that wants to prove people wrong, and he's in the right culture to go ahead and do that. So I have OKC, Cedric Coward. 16, Jace Richardson. You could put him in either guard spot, Michigan State. Desmond Bane's gone. He was traded to Orlando, so you need a combo guard. And a guy that can shoot the three. And I think Richardson fills that. His defense is nowhere near Baines, obviously, so it's not like plug and play. Baines gone, Richardson's in. But his defense is pretty good. So number 17, Minnesota Timberwolves. Derek Queen has found a home, center out of Maryland. And the reason is because Naz Reid and Julius Randle both have some question marks about their future. It sounds like both are going to test the market and see what the market free agent market gives them. So, Julius Randle, I think Derek Queen has some Julius Randle in him as far as playmaking. I mean, if you look at what Julius Randle did in the playoffs, his assist numbers, his playmaking, I think he led them in assists, which is, phenomenal for a forward. Derek Queen, I don't know what he's going to turn into. It could be really good. And Minnesota could have a really good player at 17. His stock is falling. I will say that, because of the lack of athleticism and the way the game is kind of leaning towards pace and transition. It's not to say he can't play in pace because of his ability to pass. He could be a trailer, that last guy down, sometimes what Vooch looks like in the Bulls offense. But, we'll see. 18, Washington Wizards. Okay, they already gambled once. Now you need, if you're going to go crazy wild with Ace Bailey, you need a guy who is calm. And hard-nosed and high IQ and is going to practice hard, and that's Danny Wolf from Michigan, forward. He could play center in a small lineup if you go real small, but I think he's more of a power forward. High passing IQ. So, yeah, I think that's a good mix. If they go Ace Bailey, that's the yin to the yang on that. 19. Interesting guy, point guard out of France, whose stock was a lot higher at this point last year. Nolan Traore. You know, it's funny. He started off slow overseas, inconsistency, but Brooklyn has I want to say Brooklyn has 5 first-round picks. I already got him picking 1, Malawash. So you can kind of gamble because I think they're building the roster out and seeing, hey, we could bring in guys that have a high ceiling. This guy has a high ceiling. So number 20, Miami Heat. Another guy who's very interesting, Georgetown, big man, Thomas Sorber. He's kind of a tweener because he's not like a 7-footer, but he rim protects like a 7-footer. I mean, this guy, really good offensive or a defensive player around the rim. Perfect fit for Heat culture. Will let Bam kind of space outside a little bit more. So there we go. And now we get to the best rim protector, probably in the draft. Joan Behringer, big guy out of Slovenia. Wired the Utah Jazz with Kessler at 21, picking another rim protector. Well, I already had him taking a guard, so we'll take that off the books. We already have him taking Trey Johnson, a shooter. So Kessler, when you look at Kessler from his rookie year, a lot of inconsistencies. I think his second year was really inconsistent. He had some injuries and stuff. Last year had missed some games, was a little more consistent, but I think they I don't know how sold they are on him with some decisions have to come up on his rookie contract. So that one would be interesting to see exactly how they feel about him. But I have them taking Joan Behringer, who by far, in this rookie class is probably the best rim protector. Atlanta Hawks on the clock again. More backcourt help. Will Riley out of Illinois. He's kind of a tweener between guard, small forward. Good athlete. Again, kind of jack of all trades, master of none, but has a high ceiling. Needs to improve his defense, especially Hawks need defense because they can't really defend very well. That brings us to 23, New Orleans Pelicans. Liam McNeely. Again, I think the Pelicans are really trying to – this was the trade in the other day with the Pacers. Pacers just needed to make a trade and move a pick for financial reasons. Zion, I don't know what their headache factor is with Zion. They might be at wit's end. This last stuff might with the domestic stuff, the allegations. That might be final straw, breaking the camel's back. If that's the case, the Bulls should be on the horn about Zion. I still believe in Zion. I don't believe in Zion in New Orleans. If they are going to keep him, they need somebody with a better mindset from a winning culture and to help this kind of culture change that's going on. Liam McNeely is that guy, guard forward, good shooter. But, again, he's going to be hard-nosed. He's going to push you in practice, and I think that's what they need. 24, Oklahoma City Thunder. Yes, they have another pick. Hugo Gonzalez. Last year at this time, it was Cooper Flagg, number 1, Ace Bailey, 2, Hugo Gonzalez was number 3. Out of Real Madrid, Spanish player. Big slides this year, inconsistency. And here's the thing. He doesn't even know if he wants to come over and play. So for Oklahoma City, who has a loaded roster and has to make some decisions of contract extensions of their own possibly, Hugo Gonzalez could be a draft and stash. They could stash him for another year, have rights to him for next season, see what he does, and let him kind of percolate and see if he could get the hype back to what he was at this point last year. He's an interesting prospect. Guard, big guard, small forward. We'll see. Keep an eye on that. 25, Orlando Magic. Maxime Reynaud out of Stanford. Stretch the floor guy that they haven't had at center since Vooch. Big guy. I think he's close to 7 foot or measured close to 7 foot, but he can shoot the three. And so the Magic haven't had that, and they need help shooting from the outside. They might be, I think they're last in attempts in 3-point shooting. 26, Brooklyn Nets, back at it again. They've got back-to-back picks, 26, 27, so I'll hit both of them. Nick Clifford out of Colorado State, physical guard, wants to beat you up, did a lot for the Rams, rebounds, offensive rebounder. He's just that dude, just plays hard. Kind of a tweener. We'll see how his game translates in the NBA, but because he did have to do so much for Colorado State. And then Rasheer Fleming out of St. Joseph's, power forward. I think I have them picking each position, so the chance of that working out is Fleming, 39% from three, but that's not why teams love him. 7'5" wingspan. 6'8" guy with a 7'5" wingspan. So basically he could tie his shoes without bending over. So I have him going to the Brooklyn Nets at 27. 28, guy that the Bulls really love, Drake Powell out of North Carolina. Again, this was, I want to say he was, when the season ended, he declared probably mid-second round, early second round. Combine did great things for him. Interview process did great things for him. Teams really love his makeup. High climber. So going to Boston. And look, plays guard forward. Jason Tatum probably be out for the year. And he's not a plug-and-play type guy with Boston, but definitely a developmental guy. 29, Noah Penda out of France. Why do I have him taking a forward here? Because there could be a help wanted sign posted pretty soon if they trade Kevin Durant. This guy's kind of a versatile forward. Pretty good three-point shooter. Needs to work on a lot of stuff, but I have them trading Durant, and there's your replacement down the line. And finally, number 30, Los Angeles Clippers. They're in salary cap hell, so they need a rookie to come in and do some things for them. To me, this dude, I hate to even put him at 30. I think he could be higher. Walter Clayton Jr., I don't know what he's going to be in the NBA, but I know he's just a winner. And I know he's got onions, the size of an elephant, because this dude has no fear in the clutch moments. That's just his DNA. So he goes to the Clippers at number 30. And that's it. That's the mock draft sure to go wrong by pick number 4, possibly number 3, thanks to you, Ace Bailey. You crazy bastard, you. All right, let's go to Cowley Island. We'll go to the rant. I think we'll do that. There it is. It's not my story to tell, but I will say this. I talked about this a couple weeks ago. Bulls fan base, you can finally feel a little bit better today knowing your front office is nowhere near the scumbaggery dysfunction of the New York Knicks. Hopefully the New York media has not gotten this story 100% accurate or even close to it. Was it Dolan? Was it Leon Rose? Was it the players? At the end of the day, who cares? Because what you had was a current change, and then the rats scurry in the direction of that current. And if that meant backstabbing a guy who did so much for you in Tom Thibodeau, that's on you. You sleep with that at night. So Bulls fans, I'm here to tell you, as hard as I've been on Arturas Karnisovas the last couple of years and the front office, there's 2 things I can say about AK. Loyalty, he understands it. He appreciates it. He lives by it. His loyalty to his coach and keeping the conversations open with Billy Donovan are huge and important. And that's why, as I reported in the Sun-Times, Karnisovas has already been extended. That happened months ago. Mark Eversley, the general manager, was extended, and Billy Donovan's about to be extended. So they're keeping the crew together, like it or not. But so you could say Arturas is loyal compared to the scumbags in New York. And I will say that he's transparent with the important people around him. If he doesn't deem me important in the front office, it feels like a dictatorship. He's not ownership feels like this. I'm just going to kiss ass up to ownership and pretend that even though I feel like this, I'm going to go their way. So a lot of scumbaggery in New York, And I can at least say the Bulls front office is nowhere near the dumpster trash fire that's going on in New York right now. And so then let's get to the list. These are the top 5 buyer beware draft picks. And I'll start from 5 and we'll go down to number 1. Number 1's going to be kind of obvious. Number 5, Derek Queen. I already talked about him. Derek, I love you. I think you do some great things. I just don't know if you're going to get up and down the court like I need you to, especially if the Bulls take you. Now, maybe they see the fact that he can get in shape and be that trailer in the offense when they're running, but I don't know. I just think they really and other teams are feeling this way. Derek Queen, I think, could drop. Guy talked about earlier, and again, it's no fault of his own. Nolan Treyway. Again, it's hard to say this was the film he put up in Europe and we didn't love it. So, but this was a guy who was a top 10, a top 5 possibly pick at this time last year, along with number 3, Hugo Gonzalez. Hugo Gonzalez was the it boy last year. Took some steps back. Don't even know if he's coming over. So like I said earlier, he could be a stash. We might have to wait another year for him to get him. Number 2, there's a lot of mixed feelings on Thomas Sorber, and it's because he's not 7'1" with a 7'5" wingspan. So how are you blocking shots? He was a guy you had to bring in and work him out and then get a feel and say, yeah, he's blocking shots because he's a high effort guy and height and wingspan be damned. Again, buyer beware because the offensive game needs a lot of work. You're basically getting a rim protector that you don't even know will he rim protect like he did in college at the NBA level. And number 1, my guy, Ace Bailey, who is writing the book, the basketball book for dummies of how to not get yourself drafted in the top 3. Philadelphia has said that they're fine with the cancellation. They don't need to see him. I think they drafted Maxey without seeing him. Maxey was surprised because Philadelphia hadn't even been mentioned. So I know that's out there. But when you cancel and you make it public, and that was maybe the destination place at number 3, that sends a message. And there's been more and more messages sent. This is not the first trip he's canceled. He's canceled several teams. He has not worked out for anyone. So he basically is saying, here's my Rutger tape, which is underwhelming at times and had some low effort moments. Take it or leave it. Here's my high school tape where he was more of he was playing a lot of guard and a lot of point guard at that height, which was why people got so excited about him in the first place, because you have a 6'9", 6'10" guy running the point in high school and dominating. And then he goes to Rutgers, and it's like you had Dylan Harper and you had Ace Bailey, and you were a very underwhelming team in the Big Ten. So does that go to his mentality of low effort? And I don't know. I mean, it's a buyer beware at 3, but if number 8, number 9, and Bailey's there, and the Bulls get that itch, need to scratch it, make that phone call. I mean, if the Bulls are in, hey, we got to swing for the fences, and this is a swing for the fence guy, you are hitting or missing badly with Ace Bailey. So that's it. A lot of draft talk. Hopefully things will kind of surface more as we get closer to it next Wednesday, June 25th. But until then, I've got next.